The situation deteriorated rapidly as Terra's Pride entered the main Vorthak home system. The human ship's quantum drive created massive energy distortions that spread across the star system, interfering with Imperial communication networks on multiple worlds. Citizens on planets throughout the system lost contact with orbital stations and interplanetary communications. General Dong Ho monitored the expanding communication blackout from the fleet command ship. His worst fears seemed to be confirmed. The unknown vessel was deploying sophisticated electronic warfare that could cripple their entire civilization's ability to coordinate defenses. "This is clearly a hostile act," he announced to Admiral So Young. "The alien ship is systematically destroying our communication infrastructure. They are preparing for a full-scale invasion, Admiral." So Young studied the tactical displays showing the expanding zone of communication interference. The pattern suggested either incredibly advanced electronic warfare or some unintended side effect of the alien ship's propulsion system. She hoped for the latter, but had to prepare for the former authorization granted for defensive action. She ordered, "But maintain minimum necessary force until we understand their intentions." The Imperial fleet moved into attack formation with their most powerful warships, taking positions around Terra's Pride. Warning shots were fired from multiple directions, creating a deadly light show around the human vessel. Energy blasts were carefully aimed to miss, but demonstrated overwhelming firepower. Aboard Terra's Pride, Captain Jin Woo watched the alien warships surround his vessel. The warning shots had been precise enough to avoid damage, but powerful enough to show these aliens could destroy them easily. His peaceful mission was turning into a nightmare. "The ships are surrounding us," Navigator Bo-Ram reported. "They have enough firepower to vaporize us completely, but they are holding fire." Engineer Tae-hyun frantically checked their defensive systems. "Captain, our shields are holding against the energy discharges, but these aliens have weapons technology far beyond our capabilities. A direct attack would destroy us in seconds." Dr. Soo-jin continued working on the communication problem while watching the tactical situation develop. She realized their quantum drive was causing the communication interference that the aliens were interpreting as an attack. "Captain, I believe the aliens think we are attacking their communication systems," she announced. "Our drive creates quantum field distortions that interfere with their technology. They may see this as electronic warfare." Jin Woo understood the horrible irony of their situation. Humanity's greatest achievement in space travel was being interpreted as a weapon by the first alien civilization they encountered. Their peaceful exploration vessel appeared to be a warship to these advanced beings. "Can we shut down the drive?" he asked. Tae-hyun shook his head. "Not while maintaining our position, Captain. If we shut down the quantum drive, we will drop out of faster-than-light travel and be stranded in normal space. The aliens could easily capture or destroy us." The tactical situation grew worse as more Imperial ships arrived from other star systems. The fleet surrounding Terra's Pride grew to over 100 vessels, including massive battleships that could destroy entire worlds. The humans found themselves facing the full military might of a galactic empire. General Dong Ho prepared for what he believed would be the first battle against an invasion force. Their unknown enemy had demonstrated advanced stealth capabilities by approaching undetected superior propulsion technology that exceeded Imperial capabilities and electronic warfare systems that could cripple their communications. "All ships prepare for combat," he ordered. "If they make any aggressive moves, we will respond with maximum force." Ambassador Yoon Hee continued broadcasting desperate appeals for communication from the diplomatic vessel, positioned safely behind the military fleet. Her messages used every mathematical and symbolic system known to galactic civilization, but received no response from the silent alien ship. Meanwhile, Dr. Soo-jin aboard Terra's Pride made a breakthrough in analyzing the alien communication attempts. She had been studying the patterns for hours and finally recognized the structure behind their mathematical sequences. "Captain, I understand their number system," she announced excitedly. "Their mathematics is based on different fundamental principles, but I can see the logic behind their approach." Communications Officer Jae-sung worked with Dr. Soo-jin to decode the flood of transmissions being directed at them. The alien messages seemed to be increasingly urgent warnings or demands, but the exact meaning remained unclear. The messages appear to be telling us to stop or surrender. Jae-sung reported, but I cannot be certain of the exact translation. Captain Jinwoo realized they were running out of time. The alien fleet was growing larger and more aggressive. The warning shots were coming closer to their hull, and the energy readings suggested the aliens were powering up their main weapon systems. We need to find a way to communicate our peaceful intentions before they decide we are too dangerous to allow closer, he said. The situation reached a crisis point when Terra's Pride's quantum drive created a particularly large energy distortion that knocked out communications across the entire home system. For several minutes, no Imperial facility could contact any other, creating panic among military commanders. This is an escalation of their attack, General Dong-ho declared. They are now targeting our entire star system. We must respond before they can complete whatever they are planning. Admiral So-young faced the most difficult decision of her career. The unknown ship had demonstrated capabilities that could threaten their entire civilization. If it was truly hostile, waiting longer could result in the destruction of their home worlds. But attacking first could provoke a war against an enemy with superior technology. The Imperial fleet powered up their main weapon systems. Energy readings spiked across hundreds of warships as they prepared for battle. The most powerful military force in galactic history prepared to attack a single alien vessel that had somehow become the greatest threat they had ever faced. Aboard Terra's Pride, alarms sounded throughout the ship as sensors detected the massive energy buildup from the surrounding alien fleet. Captain Jinwoo realized they had perhaps minutes before the aliens opened fire. All the communication attempts had failed. The technological differences between humans and the Imperial civilization had created misunderstandings that were about to result in the destruction of humanity's first interstellar mission. Dr. Soo-jin worked frantically at her station, trying to find some way to demonstrate their peaceful intentions. The mathematical sequences that had seemed promising were not getting through to the aliens, who remained convinced that Terra's Pride was a warship preparing to attack their civilization. The next few minutes would determine whether humanity's first contact with galactic civilization would end in tragedy. Both sides prepared for a battle that neither wanted, but both felt compelled to fight. Captain Jinwoo and Admiral So-young faced impossible choices, with the fate of both civilizations hanging in the balance. Captain Jinwoo floated in the zero-gravity command center of the exploration vessel, Terra's Pride, looking out at the star field ahead of them. After 8 months of travel through deep space, they were finally approaching their destination, the Re. Ancient radio signals Earth had detected suggested intelligent life in this region of space. He checked the mission parameters displayed on his tablet one more time. Earth's first interstellar expedition had been planned for 15 years. The best scientists, engineers, and explorers from around the world had worked together to build Terra's Pride using humanity's most advanced technology. The ship represented everything humans had learned about space travel in the past century. Their quantum drive system allowed faster than light travel by manipulating space itself, rather than trying to exceed light speed through brute force acceleration. It was a completely different approach from anything Earth scientists had theorized other civilizations might use. Navigator Boram called from her station, "Captain, we are detecting multiple artificial signals from the system ahead. The patterns suggest a highly advanced civilization with technology spread across many worlds." Jinwoo smiled at this news. Earth's first contact protocols had been written, assuming they might encounter a single-world civilization. The possibility of finding a multi-world empire had been considered, but seemed unlikely. Now it appeared they had discovered something far more impressive than anyone had hoped. Engineering Officer Tae-hyun reported from his station, "All systems running at optimal efficiency." "Captain, the quantum drive is performing better than expected, and our hull integrity remains perfect despite the extended journey. Terra's Pride had been built using materials science that Earth developed independently from any outside influence. The ship's hull combined advanced polymers with metal alloys that could withstand the stresses of quantum space manipulation. Their life support systems recycled air and water with near-perfect efficiency. Dr. Soo-jin, the expedition's xenobiologist, was studying the intercepted radio transmissions at her science station. The signals showed mathematical and linguistic patterns that suggested a complex, organized society. She had been working for weeks to understand the basic structure of their communications. "Captain," she called, "the alien signals are increasing in frequency and intensity. It appears our approach has been detected and is causing significant activity among their civilization." Jin Woo considered this information. Earth's first contact protocols emphasized peaceful intentions and scientific cooperation, but they had also prepared for the possibility that alien civilizations might be suspicious or hostile toward unknown visitors. "Show me what we know about their technology," he requested. Dr. Sujin brought up her analysis on the main screen. The alien signal suggested a civilization with advanced space travel capabilities. Their energy signatures indicated they possessed powerful weapons and defensive systems. The mathematical patterns in their communications showed sophisticated scientific knowledge. "What concerns me, Captain, is the military nature of many transmissions," Dr. Sujin continued. "It appears our arrival has triggered some kind of alert or emergency response among their forces." Navigator Boram added more troubling information. "Captain, I'm detecting multiple large vessels moving toward intercept courses with our position. Their ships appear to be military in nature, and they are positioning themselves as if expecting conflict." Jin Woo felt the weight of responsibility for humanity's first contact with alien life. His decisions in the next few hours could determine whether humans would be welcomed into galactic civilization or seen as a threat to be eliminated. "How many ships are we facing?" he asked. Boram consulted her displays. "At least 50 vessels, Captain, with more appearing on long-range sensors. Their largest ships are significantly bigger than Terra's Pride and show energy signatures consistent with heavy weapons." Engineer Tae-hyun spoke up from his station. "Captain, our shields and defensive systems are operating perfectly, but we were designed for exploration, not combat. If they decide to attack, we may not be able to defend ourselves effectively." Jin Woo knew that Terra's Pride carried some defensive capabilities, but nothing compared to what appeared to be a military fleet. The humans had hoped to encounter a peaceful civilization interested in scientific exchange. Instead, they seemed to have stumbled into the territory of a militant empire. Dr. Sujin continued analyzing the alien communications. "Captain, I believe they are trying to contact us, but their communication methods are completely different from our technology. Their signals use mathematical principles that our systems cannot decode." This was exactly the kind of challenge Earth's scientists had anticipated. Different civilizations would likely develop different approaches to mathematics, physics, and communication. The universal constants like the speed of light and mathematical relationships should be the same, but the methods for using them could vary dramatically. Jin Woo made his decision. "We will continue on our peaceful mission, but prepare for defensive action if necessary. Keep trying to decode their communications and look for ways to demonstrate our non-hostile intentions." The crew worked frantically as Terra's Pride approached the alien fleet. Boram plotted evasive courses while maintaining their general trajectory toward what appeared to be the civilization's core worlds. Tae-hyun ran diagnostics on all ship systems to ensure they were ready for any situation. Dr. Sujin focused on the communication problem, looking for mathematical patterns that might bridge the gap between human and alien science. The signals suggested the aliens were broadcasting some kind of warning or demand, but the exact meaning remained unclear. As the hours passed, more alien ships appeared on their sensors. The fleet assembling to intercept them grew larger and more impressive. These aliens clearly possessed advanced space travel technology and were not afraid to use military force when faced with unknown visitors. Captain Jin Woo realized that humanity's first contact with alien life might not go as smoothly as Earth's planners had hoped. The peaceful scientific mission he had trained for could become a desperate struggle to avoid conflict with a superior military force. But he was determined to complete their mission. Terra's Pride represented the hopes and dreams of everyone on Earth. The first human ship to travel between the stars carried the responsibility of representing all humanity to whatever civilizations they might encounter. The alien fleet continued to grow as more ships arrived to intercept the unknown human vessel. Captain Jin Woo and his crew prepared for the most important moment in human history. Wondering if they would be able to prove that humanity came in peace rather than war, Terra's Pride continued its approach toward the alien civilization, carrying the hopes of Earth and the determination of her crew to make first contact a success despite the growing military response to their arrival. The next few hours would determine whether humans would find friends or enemies among the stars. Ambassador Yunhee stood before the massive communication arrays at Imperial Command Center, watching as technicians prepared the most powerful broadcasting equipment in the galaxy. Her diplomatic team had handled first contact situations before, but never with a civilization that possessed superior technology. The communication specialists worked quickly to prepare messages in over 300 different galactic languages. Every known method of peaceful contact would be attempted. The arrays could broadcast across multiple frequency ranges using various mathematical and musical patterns that had proven successful with other civilizations. "We are ready to begin transmission," Ambassador, one of the technicians, reported. "The arrays will broadcast continuously until we receive some form of response from the approaching vessel." Yunhee nodded and activated the communication system. The first message was simple mathematical sequences, showing that they understood basic universal constants, prime numbers, the value of pi, and simple geometric relationships that should be recognized by any advanced civilization. The unknown ship continued its approach without any response. The second message included musical patterns based on mathematical harmonies that many civilizations found pleasing. These had worked well in establishing peaceful contact with several species discovered on the expanding borders of the Empire. Still, no response came from the mysterious vessel. The third attempt used visual patterns transmitted as radio signals, showing peaceful symbols and images of various galactic civilizations working together. These broadcasts had never failed to generate at least some acknowledgement from contacted species. Hours passed with no communication from the approaching ship. Ambassador Yunhee grew increasingly concerned. The vessel's continued silence suggested either complete inability to receive their signals or deliberate refusal to acknowledge Imperial attempts at peaceful contact. Meanwhile, aboard Terra's Pride communications officer Jae Sung worked desperately to decode the flood of transmissions being directed at their ship. The alien signals used completely different mathematical principles from human science, making translation nearly impossible. "Captain, these signals appear to be some form of greeting or communication attempt," Jae Sung reported, "but their mathematical foundation is completely different from our approach to physics and mathematics." Dr. Sujin joined the communication analysis, looking for patterns that might bridge the gap between human and alien science. The signal suggested the aliens were trying multiple different approaches, as if they expected one method to eventually work. "They seem to be broadcasting in many different formats," she observed. "This suggests they have experience communicating with various civilizations. They may be part of some larger galactic community." Captain Jin Woo realized the implications of this discovery. If these aliens were part of a larger civilization, then Terra's Pride might have encountered not just one species, but an entire galactic empire. This made peaceful contact even more important, but also more challenging. "Try to respond using basic mathematical principles," he ordered. "Use prime numbers and simple geometric relationships that should be universal communications." Officer Jae Sung began broadcasting humanity's own first contact protocols. The messages included mathematical sequences that Earth scientists believed would be recognized by any technological civilization, prime numbers, Fibonacci sequences, and the mathematical relationships that governed physics. The human signals reached the Imperial communication arrays within minutes. Ambassador Yunhee and her team analyzed the transmissions with growing excitement. The mathematical patterns were elegant and sophisticated, but used approaches they had never encountered before. "These signals show advanced mathematical understanding," one of her advisors reported, "but their method of expressing these concepts is completely different from any known galactic civilization." Ambassador Yunhee studied the alien mathematics with fascination. The unknown ship's builders had clearly developed science and mathematics independently from the rest of galactic civilization. This made them either an isolated species that had achieved interstellar travel alone, or representatives of a completely separate galactic community. "Send a response using their mathematical format," she ordered. If they developed independently, we need to adapt our communication methods to match their approach. The Imperial communication teams worked to create messages using the mathematical principles demonstrated in the alien signals. This required completely rethinking their approach to first contact protocols, but offered the possibility of establishing meaningful dialogue. Back on Terra's Pride, the crew detected the changed nature of the alien transmissions. Dr. Sujin noticed immediately that the new signals attempted to mirror human mathematical approaches. This suggested intelligence and flexibility on the part of the alien civilization. Captain, they are trying to communicate using our mathematical methods, Dr. Sujin reported. This shows they recognize our signals as intelligent communication and are attempting to establish common ground. Jin Wu felt encouraged by this development. Despite the military fleet assembling around them, the aliens were clearly trying to establish peaceful communication. Their willingness to adapt their methods showed sophisticated understanding of first contact procedures. However, the communication attempts were interrupted when Terra's Pride entered the outer edges of the alien star system. Their quantum drive created energy distortions that interfered with local communication networks. The aliens interpreted these distortions as some form of electronic warfare. Admiral So Young received urgent reports that the unknown vessel was disrupting Imperial communication systems. The ship's energy emissions were causing interference across multiple frequencies, making coordination between fleet units difficult. General Dong Ho immediately declared this a hostile act. The unknown ship is deploying electronic warfare against our communication networks, he announced. This proves their aggressive intentions. Ambassador Yoon Hee disagreed. The interference may be unintentional. Their technology is clearly different from ours. They may not realize their systems are causing problems. The debate was cut short when long-range sensors detected energy weapon signatures from several Imperial ships. General Dong Ho had authorized warning shots to demonstrate Imperial military capability and demand that the alien vessel halt its advance aboard. Terra's Pride alarms sounded as the crew detected incoming energy blasts. Captain Jinwoo watched in shock as alien warships fired weapons that passed close to their hull. The shots were clearly warnings rather than attempts to destroy them, but the message was unmistakable. Engineer Taehyun reported that their shields absorbed the energy without damage, but the weapon signatures indicated these aliens possessed formidable military technology. Any direct attack would likely overwhelm Terra's Pride's defensive systems. Dr. Sujin realized the tragic irony of the situation. Our quantum drive is interfering with their communications, she announced. They probably think we are jamming their signals deliberately. Captain Jinwoo faced an impossible choice. Continue their approach and risk being attacked by superior forces, or retreat and abandon humanity's first chance at contact with galactic civilization. The warning shots had demonstrated that these aliens were prepared to use force. Both sides found themselves trapped in a situation neither wanted. The humans sought peaceful contact, but their technology appeared threatening to the aliens. The Empire wanted to establish communication, but interpreted human technology as potentially hostile. The communication attempts continued even as military tensions escalated. Ambassador Yoon Hee and Communications Officer Jae Sung worked desperately to establish meaningful dialogue before the situation deteriorated into open conflict that could destroy any chance for peaceful first contact between their civilizations. Admiral So Young was reviewing fleet positions when the emergency message arrived. The priority alert flashed red across her command screen, pulling her attention away from routine patrol reports. She had been in charge of the Imperial Navy for 5 years and had never received an alert marked as potential first contact. The message from Monitoring Station 732 made no sense. An unknown vessel moving at impossible speeds toward their core worlds, with technology that their computers could not identify. So Young read the report 3 times, trying to understand what she was seeing. She immediately activated the emergency communication system that would connect her with the High Command. Within minutes, the most important military leaders in the Empire would gather in the war room to discuss this situation. The last time this system had been used was during the rebellion on the Outer Worlds 10 years ago. General Dong Ho arrived first at the emergency meeting. His scarred face showed the experience of 30 years fighting to expand and protect the empire. He took his usual seat at the large table and waited for the others to arrive. His hand rested unconsciously on his weapon, as he always did when facing unknown threats. Science advisor Yu Jin entered the room carrying a portable computer filled with analysis of the scanner data. She was the smartest person in the empire when it came to understanding new technology. Her job was to study any advanced equipment captured from pirates or discovered on new worlds. Admiral So Young activated the main display screen, showing the information from the monitoring station. The unknown ship appeared as a bright dot moving through their space at speeds that seemed impossible. The energy readings showed power levels far beyond anything in their experience. "This cannot be real," General Dong Ho said, looking at the display. "No civilization has technology this advanced. We would have encountered them before now. If they existed." Yu Jin studied her computer screen carefully before responding. "The scanner readings are consistent across multiple stations. This ship is real, and it represents technology centuries ahead of our own. The hull materials alone are beyond our current understanding." Admiral So Young felt the weight of command pressing down on her shoulders. Every decision she made in the next few hours could determine the survival of their civilization. If this ship represented a hostile force, they might be facing an enemy they could not defeat. "What are our options?" she asked the assembled commanders. General Dong Ho stood up and pointed at the display. "We mobilize every available ship and prepare for war. If they are hostile, we must be ready to fight. We cannot allow an unknown force to approach our core worlds." Unopposed. Science advisor Yu Jin shook her head. "This would be a mistake. Their technology is clearly superior to ours. Any military confrontation would likely end in our defeat. We should try to establish communication first." Admiral So Young considered both options. The empire had grown powerful through military strength, but they had also survived by knowing when to fight and when to negotiate. This situation required careful thinking rather than quick action. The display updated showing the ship's continued advance through their space. It had passed through 3 more star systems since the first report. Each update confirmed the same impossible readings: advanced technology, unknown design and speeds that defied physics. "Show me our defensive positions," Admiral So Young ordered. The display changed to show the locations of Imperial fleets throughout their territory. Most ships were scattered across the empire, maintaining order and protecting trade routes. Only a fraction of their total military power could reach the core worlds quickly enough to intercept this unknown vessel. "We can assemble approximately 200 ships within the next 18 hours. General Dong Ho reported. "Our fastest vessels can reach intercept position near the 7th planet of our home system." Admiral So Young realized the limitations of their response. Even their best military efforts might prove useless against technology this advanced. The unknown ship had demonstrated capabilities far beyond their understanding. "What about communication attempts?" she asked. Yu Jin consulted her computer. "We have been broadcasting standard greeting messages on all known frequencies. The ship has not responded to any communication attempts. It either cannot receive our signals or chooses to ignore them." The war room fell silent as the implications became clear. They were dealing with either a vessel that could not communicate with them, or one that deliberately refused all contact. Both possibilities were troubling Admiral So Young made her decision. "We will mobilize the fleet, but position them defensively rather than aggressively. We will continue communication attempts while preparing for any possible outcome." General Dong Ho objected. "Admiral, if we appear weak, they may interpret this as an invitation to attack. We should show strength to demonstrate that we are not easy targets." Science advisor Yu Jin disagreed. "If we appear hostile, they may decide we are a threat that must be eliminated. Their superior technology could destroy our fleet before we could effectively respond." The debate continued for another hour as reports arrived showing the unknown ship's steady advance. More monitoring stations detected the vessel as it moved deeper into Imperial space. Each report confirmed the same disturbing information. Admiral So Young finally ended the discussion by issuing direct orders. Fleet mobilization would begin immediately, with ships taking defensive positions near their core worlds. Communication attempts would continue using every known method. Scientists would analyze all available data to learn as much as possible about this technology. As the meeting ended, each commander left with specific tasks. General Dong Ho would coordinate military preparations. Yu Jin would lead scientific analysis. Admiral So Young would oversee the overall response while maintaining communication with political leaders. The unknown ship continued its advance, showing no signs of slowing down or changing course. It moved through Imperial space as if their mighty fleet did not exist. Its technology remained beyond their understanding, and its intentions completely unknown. Within hours, the largest fleet in galactic history would assemble to face this single unknown vessel. Hundreds of warships carrying thousands of crew members would prepare for the possibility of battle against an enemy with superior technology. But even as military preparations continued, Admiral So Young wondered if their weapons would prove effective against whatever was approaching in that mysterious ship. The vessel had already demonstrated technology that made their most advanced systems look primitive. The empire that had dominated the galaxy for 1,000 years was about to face its greatest challenge. An unknown ship carrying unknown technology from an unknown civilization was advancing toward their home worlds at impossible speeds. Admiral So Young could only hope that whoever was aboard that vessel had peaceful intentions, because if they came as enemies, the mighty Vorthak Empire might face its first and final defeat. Kyungmin stared at his screen with tired eyes. The green glow of the scanner display had been his only companion for the past 6 hours on this boring night shift at monitoring station 732. The station floated in the dark space between star systems, watching for pirate smugglers or any other threats to the mighty Vorthak Empire. He rubbed his eyes and looked again at the display. Something was wrong. The scanner showed a new contact moving toward their space, but this was impossible. The contact had appeared from nowhere without any warning signals or identification codes. Every ship in the galaxy had to broadcast proper codes or face immediate destruction by automated defense systems. The ship on his screen looked different from anything he had ever seen. Kyungmin had worked at monitoring stations for 15 years and knew every type of vessel in the Galactic database. This ship was not in any records. He checked the computer 3 times, but got the same result. Unknown. Vessel of unknown design from unknown origin. What scared him most was the ship's speed. It was moving faster than any ship should be able to move. The fastest military vessels in the Vorthak fleet could barely reach half this speed, even with their most advanced engines. This unknown ship was moving at speeds that should have torn it apart from the stress. Kyungmin pressed the emergency alert button that would call his commander. He had never used this button before in all his years of service. His hands shook as he waited for Commander Haewon to arrive. The scanner kept showing the same impossible information. The ship was getting closer and moving even faster. Commander Haewon arrived at the monitoring station within 10 minutes. She was a serious woman who had served in the Imperial Navy for 20 years before taking this posting. Her uniform was perfect, even though she had been woken up from sleep. Her dark eyes quickly scanned the information on Kyungmin's screen. "What am I looking at?" she asked in her calm voice. "An unknown contact." Commander Kyungmin replied, trying to keep his voice steady. "It appeared on scanners 40 minutes ago, moving at impossible speed toward our core worlds. The computer cannot identify the ship design or origin." Haewon studied the display carefully. Her expression grew more serious with each passing minute. The ship was unlike anything in their database. The hull design was smooth and strange, made from materials that reflected their scanning beams in unusual ways. The energy signature was completely different from normal space drives. "Show me the trajectory," she ordered. Kyungmin brought up the navigation display. The red line showing the ship's path went straight through several star systems toward the heart of the Vorthak Empire. The ship was not following normal space lanes or using the quantum beacons that all galactic traffic required for safe navigation. It was moving through space as if it knew exactly where it was going. "This is impossible," Haewon whispered. "No ship can navigate without beacon guidance. The quantum currents between stars will tear apart any vessel that tries to travel without proper equipment." "But Commander, look at the energy readings." Kyungmin pointed to another part of his display. "The ship is generating power levels far beyond anything we know. Their engines are producing energy signatures that our computers cannot even classify. HFY felt a cold fear growing in her stomach. In her 20 years of military service, she had never seen anything like this. The Vorthak Empire controlled thousands of worlds and had detailed records of every known civilization in the galaxy. They had never encountered any technology this advanced. Send an immediate priority message to Fleet Command. She ordered use emergency channels and mark it as potential first contact situation. Kyung-min began typing the emergency report. His fingers moved quickly over the controls, but his mind was filled with questions. Who had built this ship? Where did it come from and why was it heading straight for their homeworlds? The scanner display updated again, showing the ship had increased speed even more. It was now moving at velocities that seemed impossible. The ship should have been destroyed by radiation and debris at such speeds, but it continued its steady advance through space, Commander. What if they are hostile? Kyung-min asked quietly. HFY did not answer immediately. She watched the display showing the ship's relentless approach toward their civilization. If this vessel represented a hostile force, they were dealing with technology far beyond their ability to defend against. The ship had already passed through their outer detection grids without triggering any alarms. We must assume they could be either friendly or hostile, she finally said. But their technology is clearly superior to ours. If they wanted to attack us, they probably could have done so already. The emergency message was sent. To Fleet Command within minutes, HFY knew that within hours the entire Imperial military would be mobilizing to deal with this threat. The most powerful space navy in the galaxy would prepare for the possibility of war. Kyung-min continued monitoring the unknown ship as it moved through space. The vessel maintained its impossible speed and showed no signs of slowing down or changing course. It ignored all communication attempts and continued broadcasting. No identification signals, keep scanning, and record everything, HFY ordered. I want detailed analysis of their hull design, energy signatures, and any other information we can gather. Hours passed slowly as they watched the ship advance. The vessel moved through star system after star system, getting closer to the core worlds of the Empire. Each update showed the same impossible readings, advanced technology, unknown materials, and speeds that defied their understanding of physics. As dawn broke over the monitoring station, Kyung-min realized their quiet lives were about to change forever. This unknown ship represented either the greatest discovery in galactic history or the greatest threat their civilization had ever faced. The ship continued its advance through space, carrying secrets and technology from somewhere beyond their known galaxy. Commander HFY and scanner operator Kyung-min could only watch and wait as the greatest mystery in their lifetimes moved steadily toward their homeworlds within the next few hours. Every military commander in the Empire would know about this ship. Fleets would mobilize, weapons would be readied, and the greatest space navy in galactic history would prepare to face the unknown. But deep in their hearts, both HFY and Kyung-min wondered if their mighty empire was prepared for whatever was approaching in that mysterious vessel moving through space at impossible speeds. Navigator Boram had an idea that could save both civilizations from a tragic war. She had been studying star charts while listening to the failed communication attempts and realized that mathematical sequences alone were not enough to bridge the gap between human and alien science. Captain, she called urgently, I think I can show them where we came from. Boram quickly programmed a message that combined mathematics with stellar navigation. The transmission showed the position of Earth relative to nearby star systems using universal astronomical constants that any spacefaring civilization would recognize. The message traced Terra's Pride's journey across hundreds of light years. She broadcast the stellar navigation data, along with mathematical proofs showing the distance traveled and time required. The message demonstrated that Terra's Pride had come from a distant solar system at the edge of galactic space, requiring months of travel to reach this location. The transmission reached Imperial communication arrays just as Admiral So Young was preparing to give the order to fire. Science advisor Yujin was monitoring all alien communications and immediately recognized the significance of the new transmission. Admiral, wait, she called out. This changes everything. The alien ship is showing us their point of origin. They traveled here from a star system at the edge of known space. Jin quickly analyzed the stellar navigation data and realized its implications. The unknown vessel had not appeared from nowhere as they had initially believed. Instead, it had made an incredibly long journey from a distant solar system that their astronomers had never studied. "This is the exploration mission, not an invasion force," Jin announced. The mathematical elegance of their navigation calculations shows they are scientists, not warriors. Ambassador Yoon-hee recognized the breakthrough immediately. The aliens were finally providing information that could be verified and understood. The stellar charts used universal constants and showed sophisticated understanding of galactic astronomy. "Broadcast our own stellar navigation data," she ordered. "Show them the location of our homeworlds and the extent of our civilization. Let them know they have encountered the Vorthak Empire." The Imperial response included detailed star charts showing the locations of thousands of worlds connected by their quantum beacon network. The transmission demonstrated the vast size and scope of their galactic civilization while also showing peaceful intentions through the sharing of scientific information. Aboard Terra's Pride, Dr. Jin nearly shouted with excitement when she decoded the alien response. "Captain, they are showing us their entire civilization. They control thousands of worlds connected by some kind of navigation network." The detailed star charts revealed the true scope of what they had discovered. Humanity had not encountered a single alien species, but an entire galactic empire spanning vast regions of space. The implications were staggering for Earth's future. Captain Jinwoo realized this was the moment that would determine humanity's place in galactic civilization. He ordered his crew to prepare their most comprehensive response, showing Earth's scientific achievements and peaceful intentions. Communications Officer Jae-sung broadcast detailed information about human civilization, including mathematical proofs, scientific discoveries, and cultural achievements. The transmission showed that humans had developed interstellar travel independently and sought peaceful contact with other intelligent species. The breakthrough came when both sides simultaneously began broadcasting prime number sequences using each other's mathematical notation. Ambassador Yoon-hee and Captain Jinwoo had both recognized that successful communication required adapting to the other side's approach, rather than insisting on their own methods. Science advisor Jin made the most important realization of the entire encounter. "This is incredible, Admiral. The aliens developed faster than light travel using completely different scientific principles from our own. They represent an independent evolution of spacefaring civilization." Admiral So Young felt amazement replace her earlier fear. If these beings had developed interstellar travel independently, they could teach the Empire new approaches to science and technology. Their different perspective could advance Imperial knowledge in ways they had never imagined. General Dong-ho gradually accepted that the unknown ship posed no military threat. The aliens had made no aggressive moves despite being surrounded by overwhelming force. Their technology was advanced, but clearly designed for exploration rather than warfare. The communication breakthrough led to rapid progress in establishing basic translation protocols. Captain Jinwoo and Ambassador Yoon-hee exchanged increasingly complex messages that demonstrated the peaceful intentions of both civilizations. Dr. Jin worked with Communications Officer Jae-sung to create the first human-alien dictionary by comparing mathematical and scientific concepts between the two civilizations. The process was slow, but each successful translation brought them closer to meaningful dialogue. Within hours, both sides had established enough communication to arrange a formal first contact meeting. Ambassador Yoon-hee would lead a diplomatic team to board Terra's Pride, while Captain Jinwoo prepared to welcome the first alien visitors.